right. Make sure we have audio as we always do. And we do. I can hear myself clicking. All right. So move that there. Move this here. All right. It's dark in here. My office just got really dark. Grab my drinks. Put my snack there. And turn the camera on. How dark is it in here? Yeah, it looks like I'm sitting in a cave. I gotta go turn the light on. All right, I'm gonna turn the light on so it doesn't look like I'm sitting in a bunker someplace. Ugh. All right. Oops, I got a camera on. There we go. All right, so it doesn't look like I'm sitting in a bunker anymore. Turn the lights on, and we are about ready to go. So, episode 2, Draft Day Sports. I guess Draft Day Sports, College Football 2023. So those of you watching on YouTube, welcome after the fact. We are, I don't even remember where we are, week 3, week 4, something like that, with the Fighting Illini. And this is me bumbling through this game as I've played all of the Draft Day Sports games. This is my first go-round with college football, so we'll just sort of see how it goes. So we took over Illinois. We are, I don't even remember our record, 2-1, 1-2, something like that. 3-0. Oh, we're 3-0. Football go Burr. FJ, what's going on, man? How are you? So we're 3-0. We beat Connecticut 28-19, Southern Miss 14-9, North Texas 24-21. But the Big Ten schedule starts in earnest here as we've got number 14, Iowa, coming up. Phone beeping at me. Yeah, so early stream today. I have a baseball game I have to do tonight. I have a baseball game I have to do tomorrow morning. So, yeah, so doing an early stream today. So we'll get through some of the season and see how it goes. So I don't know if we had done our recruiting post week 3. We had a couple players reject our scholarship offers. They both went to Tennessee, John Belay and Eric Olvera. So I think we just jump right into recruiting. Nothing is going on, living life. That's, hey, sometimes that's all right, especially when you get a long weekend. You can just sort of sit back and enjoy it. I've enjoyed my long weekend, but I certainly have not done nothing. I had a baseball game Thursday night up in Milwaukee. I had a baseball game Friday night. I had a baseball game last night. I have a baseball game tonight. I have a baseball game tomorrow afternoon. Then I finally get Tuesday off. Then I have a baseball game Wednesday. Then I have Thursday off. Then I have baseball games Friday and Saturday. So that's my next week. I can't imagine willingly going to Tennessee. My father-in-law used to every year he and some of his friends would pick a big time college program to go see. And yeah, I'm a busy guy. It's fun though. I'm never going to complain about it. I absolutely love it. He would pick a Big Ten, like we live in Chicago. So, he would go to Notre Dame, once or twice a year, but, he and his friends would pick like a big school and go experience, that stadium. And they went to Tennessee one season and he had a good time. So, I don't remember where we are. So we just got to sort of dig around here. We got 15,000 in recruiting, 104 left in scouting, 15 left in outreach hours. I think, let's just look at our roster real quick. Yeah, we needed a quarterback because Fairbanks is a senior. We're probably going to go into next year with Abner as our starting QB unless we can get somebody better. Running back was another issue. We had Hayes as our main guy, or Hayes and Sexton. Yeah, they're both redshirt seniors. So it was skill positions, if I remember correctly, was our wide receiver situation. I wrote it down. I just wrote it down right here. Let me pull that up. Pull up my notepad. So a couple of quarterbacks, a couple of running backs, a couple of wide receivers, and linebackers is what we're going to be looking for here. So, yeah. So the team I call the games for, the Chicago Dogs, they lost again last night. So they are now tied for first place. They had an 11-game lead at the end of July. They lost all 11 games in the last 30 days. They still, even though they're tied, they still control their own destiny. If they win their last 2 games, they win the division. But it's been a hairy 6 weeks for sure. So, all right. So we want people who have, so Jeremy Davidson is somebody I want to take a shot at because we need linebackers. Let's put the rest of the money into scouting. We need wide receivers. These guys aren't showing any interest. Michael Byers is, though, so let's make sure we get scouting money into him. Let's interview him. Let's home visit. Let's go all in on Michael Byers here. We've got the quarterback, so we'll interview. We have no outreach hours left. You know what? I think let's pull back. We need 5 for a home visit, right? Yeah. All right, so we've got 4. So let's do that. We still have 2 outreach hours left. Running back, he's hot, so let's do that. We have 2 outreach hours left. Let's invite him to a game. So going heavy into some of these players that, and this is how I was taught to do this. Is you go heavy into the players that you really want, that you really need, because otherwise you don't stand a chance. So we've still got recruiting. Can we put any more recruiting? We can't put more than 10 into recruiting these guys. So, anybody? Let's look at. Let's look at all, because one of the things I was doing in my offline save is I started looking at high-end players who didn't have a lot of offers made. Like these guys are all 5-star receivers. They have a ton of offers. So if we look at the 4-star guys, like you got Emory Artis here, the 4-star, 287th overall in the class. He only has 1 offer. So if we dump a bunch of money into him, we interview him, and offer him a contract. I keep saying that. Offer him a scholarship. We might be able to get in early with someone like that. So that's it for wide receivers. Let's look at running backs and do the same thing. A lot of 4-star guys. Michael Hale. Let's put 5 in there. Let's get scouting. Let's interview. Let's offer him a scholarship. Quarterbacks. Justin Delgado. We don't have any recruiting money left, so let's do this and let's do this. We'll put 15 into scouting. Come on, 15 into scouting. Why won't it let me? Offer him a scholarship as well. Why will this not let me? I grew up in Boston, FJ. I lived in Boston until I was 23. So my formative years, so to speak, I grew up as a Boston sports fan. Moved to Illinois in '99. Not really by choice, but I moved to Illinois in '99. But maintained my loyalties. So yeah, that's how that happened. Let's look at all. So these guys have no interest in us as of yet. Well, these are the guys we just recruited. Daniels, so far no interest. Can we put why? I've got scouting. Why can't I use my scouting? Yeah, I'm one of those guys who will never change. I'll never change my loyalties. They'll stay the way they are. And I try to raise my kids as Boston sports fans. It's a little harder, but they have all the gear. When my father was still alive, he used to send for birthdays and holidays. I would get a box for every birthday and every holiday. I would just get a box of Boston like jerseys and stuff for all my kids. My dad passed away about 5 years ago, so I've tried to carry on that tradition, and I just buy them. Stuff. Like I went back to Boston. Last time I was there was last September, and I went to like Dick's Sporting Goods, and I spent like $400 on Boston sports gear for my kids. Bought them all Patrice Bergeron jerseys, and like I bought each of them. I focused on one team. Like I knew my youngest, he's 6 years old. He's a big hockey fan. Like he loves the sport of hockey. He doesn't know anything about it, but he just likes watching hockey. So I bought him a bunch of Bruins stuff. My oldest daughter likes baseball, so I bought her a bunch of Red Sox stuff. And my middle son seems to enjoy basketball, so I bought him a bunch of Celtics stuff. When you have kids, they can be whatever they want. As long as they're not. Yeah, well, that's true. As long as they're not Yankee fans, that's a good point. Yeah, I don't care. Like my father-in-law tries to push them to be Chicago fans. Like he's a Blackhawks and White Sox and Bears fan. He's got season tickets for the White Sox, the Bears. I don't know if he still has his Hawks season tickets or not. But he has season tickets to like everything. So he tries to make them Chicago sports fans, but it doesn't always work out. So, all right, here we go. So our first big challenge as we are at home against number 14 Iowa, and we win. Wow, look at that. We beat the Hawkeyes at home. Let's go. Rudolph Sexton, touchdown run. Sidney Fairbanks, 18 of 28, $174, a touchdown and an interception. Burns throws for 180. Sexton and Hayes, running games. I don't know why we're running the ball with 7 different players every game. That's something we can take a look at. But right now it's working, so I don't want to change it too much. You wouldn't wish being a Bears and a Blackhawks fan. Blackhawks especially, my take on the Blackhawks is they should burn that organization to the ground. It's something I talked about in one of my last streams. Like I don't want to get into the depths of why, but that organization deserves to be burned to the ground. Bears fans, I just feel bad for them. It's just terrible ownership year after year after year. So we got a forced fumble from Irwin. Our red shirt sophomore. He's out for a couple of weeks, though. That's no good. What am I doing? Here we go. Sack from Hawkins. He looks like he had a pretty good game. He had a sack, 2 hurries, 2 knockdowns. McLean had a hurry and a knockdown. All right, so we're 4-0. So hopefully we had people. So it's like out of the park baseball but football. Yeah, basically, it's not quite as in depth. Out of the park has had 23 years to kind of perfect its thing. The Wolverine Studio guys, if you like playing, look at that, we're top 10, we're top 25. If you like playing these types of games, FJ, if it's not just a baseball thing for you, Wolverine Studios is absolutely kind of, I would say, that next rung on the ladder, right below out of the park, right below the out of the park development guys. They've got pro basketball, college basketball, pro football, college football. They've also got like golf and a couple others, but yeah, their football games are a little bit behind their basketball games because their basketball games are they've been doing them a little bit longer. They have the best basketball GM type games out there. Like you will not find anything better. The recruiting that the way that they do recruiting in football and basketball, it's so good. And the thing that I think most about it, and this is one of the things I like about the Out of the Park team, is that they're responsive, right? Like if you go to the OOTP forums, and you filter through all of the nonsense of all the crap that's posted on there by people who are just complaining, they respond to you, right? Whether it's Marcus directly or one of the other developers, they will respond to you. And the Wolverine guys are exactly the same way. If you go to their forums, you post something, they will absolutely get back to you. So if you've got a suggestion or a question or something like that, it really makes you feel like part of the community, which is cool. And I'm not just saying that because I'm playing their game here, but I enjoy it. I really enjoy it. So Pedro Kendall was excited to attend our win. Brendan Tuck, he was excited. Michael Hale, based on scholarship offers, we have significant competition for his signature. Emery Artist, our chances are not good. Jeremy Davidson, they like our odds on getting him. Michael Byers, they like our odds on getting him. And John Swartz, based on him, he's very likely to sign with us given that we're the only ones who have been recruiting him. Locker room report, morale is high as it should be. Early bird gets the recruit. That is correct, Breeze. That is the attempt here. That is the attempt. All right, so let's delete all these emails. We didn't get any recruits this week, which is a little concerning. But so we still have 4 scholarships. Let's look at our actions. Anybody we can just... Yeah, Michael Hale wasn't gonna. We have significant competition for his signature. He's not interested in us. Justin Delgado, no interest in us. Matt Ryan Jr. coming to the port. I hope so. I love a little Matty Ice action. Absolutely. So Byers and Kendall are players, and all right, so we got Tuck is hot, Kendall is warm, so I think let's do home visits for both of them. Gives us 5 outreach hours left. So Byers, Kendall, and Tuck. Home visits for all 3 of them. See if we can generate a little more interest there. We have 4 scholarship offers remaining. We don't have any information on him yet. I guess let's talk to him. Is there anybody that these are the only 24 players we're scouting, so we need to I kind of feel like I want to take. There's nothing we can. I want to go after the players that I feel like we can get: Byers, Kendall, and Tuck, and then kind of go from there. Jeremy Davidson. He's from my neck of the woods, Elk Grove Village. All right, so what else do we need? Quarterbacks, running backs, linebackers. We need a kicker. So we have a contract. We have a scholarship offer out to Donald Scherer. Alpha, how you doing, my friend? How is what's Sunday, right? How's your Sunday going? I'm not used to streaming on a Sunday morning. How is your Sunday morning going? Let's go to alt, and let's do this again. Let's look at, is there anybody that's, is there some way to look at anybody that isn't, like to pull out all the players that have uncommitted? This is what we want. All right. So again, I want to look for players who don't have a lot of offers and see if we can make some headway. So William Farmer only has one scholarship offer, so let's do that. And I think I got to put some recruiting into some of these guys too. That's the other thing. Mike Viejo, do that, and we'll come back and we'll remove some recruiting dollars from some other players. Great first week of college football. Yeah, I was actually at a baseball game last night, and I saw that Notre Dame was up at halftime on Ohio State. I thought Notre Dame, like they do every year, was going to get absolutely trucked when they end up playing somebody who's competitive, and they hung with Ohio State. I mean, obviously they ended up losing, but yeah, it's a good first week of football. I didn't get to watch much of it, unfortunately. I was out most days. Well, I was out every day at baseball games, but yeah, good first week of football. What is going on? Why can't I put money into? All right, well, it's not letting me do that. So let's go here, and then let's look at everybody. Nope, not everybody. Targets. All. Second quarter was insane for them. Yeah, unfortunately, I missed it, but yeah, it's I think we can offer scholarships to all these guys, right? Yeah, Farmer and Alcala. We're gonna take here, because we want to go all in on some of these other guys. I'm not all that keen on picking up. Well, I mean, maybe not Glass, and we need a tight end, so we'll stick with Glass now. 11 play drive, 7 minutes off the clock, 87 yards, ended up with a touchdown. I'm not a big Notre Dame guy. I never have been. I just, I don't know. I don't. I grew up in Boston, and this is going to sound pretty dumb, but if I'm going to root for a Catholic school, it's going to be Boston College. It's just the way I grew up. So when BC would play Notre Dame in the quote unquote Holy War, I was always a BC. I'm always a BC guy. So, yeah, that's just sort of my, the way I look at things from a Notre Dame perspective. Not a huge Notre Dame fan, never have been. But I also don't really like Ohio State. I think Ohio State and Alabama are really bad for college football. That sort of domination, year over year to me, I don't have a lot of interest in it, which is why I don't really have a favorite college football team. I went to an FCS school. I went to the University of New Hampshire. So I love FCS football. I follow FCS football week after week after week, but Division I, it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch. I enjoy it. I'll watch pretty much every bowl game because I think bowl games are a spectacle in and of themselves. But I prefer the bowl games between the teams that are, 7-6 and 6-6. I like those games the most, the really bizarre, random games. Those are the ones I really like. So, yeah, I think, when you start this season and the two of the Final Four teams already are going to be Ohio State and Alabama and probably Georgia. Again, it gets boring year after year. I don't think anybody outside of Alabama or Georgia wants to watch Alabama and Georgia play again in the tournament, right? Does anybody really want to watch that again? I certainly don't. No. Anyway, we're taking on Wisconsin. We're 4-0. We're number 18 in the country, and we've really done nothing other than set the roster and set the depth charts. We're in our first season still, so this is all AI stuff. So let's see what happens at home against Wisconsin. We are 4.5-point underdogs. We lose 23-20. Yeah, Georgia stacked. They absolutely demolished Oregon last night. That was crazy. And the thing about Georgia is they had 15 players drafted into the NFL. and they're still loaded. So we got down 10-0. We tied it at 13. We tied it at 20. They kicked a field goal with a minute 14 left to beat us. So that's a shame. Fairbanks, again, not a particularly good game. 15-27, 202. We held their quarterback in check, but Joseph Gilbert had a good game, averaging 8.5 yards a carry. Meanwhile, in Illinois, 3.6 for Sexton and 4.1 for Hayes. Yeah, they are loaded. And I always rooted for Georgia when they played Alabama because I'm already tired of Alabama, but now I'm tired of Georgia as well. So what do I have going on here? This is my very first playthrough of Draft Day Sports College Football. I am a huge fan of the Wolverine Studios guys. I love their games. This is my first playthrough with my first attempted playthrough with a team, and so far so good. We're in week 6 of season 1, so it's still kind of working out recruiting and how do we recruit and things like that. So yeah, we're going to try to turn Illinois into a winner before Illinois turns into a winner on their own, because Lord knows that'll never happen. All right, so let's see if we can get any commits this week. 12 messages. We got Rutgers next week. Jeremy Griffin signed with Memphis. Pedro Kendall, lots of good energy. Michael Byers, listened carefully, a lot of recruiting points. Brendan Tuck was very excited. Alcala, we're not entirely out of the running. Vallejo, our chances are not good. Farmer, we have significant competition and none. We don't really have any other information. Is he really getting angry? We'll take a look at the Tigers in just a second. Do that for you. He's literally the 4th best cornerback we have. What do you want, man? What do you want? I don't know what to tell you. You want to look at, here, we'll go to dashboard, and we'll look at Missouri. Four and 0. They're 7th, ranked 7th in the nation right now. And they basically have been beating up on the cupcakes here early on. They got LSU coming up, though, and then South Carolina and Arkansas. So a couple of tough tasks up ahead. Alpha, no, they don't. They can't, it's just too many players. The game itself doesn't have the official licensing, so there's no real teams, no real things like that. But through the mods for the Wolverine games are unbelievable. And this is a mod that downloads the teams, the logos, and you can download the coaches. But when you figure there are however many teams there are in Division I football, 100 or is it more than 200? I don't even know how many it is right now. But 70 to 80 players for each one of those teams, that's just not feasible, I don't think. So yeah, but they've got all the logos and everything, and the players just sort of are what they are. Which is neat because it means you can restart. So let's say I get through this and, we end up winning, national championships and we want to start over. We can start over with the Fighting Illini and we'll have a completely different roster. So it allows you to kind of replay your favorite team over and over and over again. FJ, which Huskies? Washington, UConn, which Huskies are we talking about? We got a tough schedule coming up, man. We got to win this one because we got Michigan and Nebraska on the horizon. The Washington Huskies, gotcha. And I assumed that's who you were talking about, but maybe you're a UConn fan. Who knows? Obviously, Washington. All right, well, they're 3-2. 40th in the country. They started 3-0, beat North Carolina, West Virginia, and App State. Then got steamrolled by Oregon and doubled up by Arizona State. The only Huskies team that counts. There's also Northern Illinois, which is right in my backyard as well. The NIU Huskies are a Division I team. Hey, they have a commit. They have the 3,585th commit in the nation, a punter out of Washington. So there you go. You got your first commit, a punter. Oops. Where is... I wish there was an easier way to do this than scrolling through hundreds of team names. Hot punt stuff. Yeah, Northern they're one of those teams that falls in that, 7-6, and they play some random, bowl game in New Mexico, right at the beginning of November, and that's fine. So, all right, what are we doing? Scouting, recruiting, going after the stars as usual. Yes, sir, they are. All right. So anybody that we can remove. We got some interest from Hale. Significant competition. We're his only offer, so I think we just go all in on Hale, honestly. If we can get a 4-star recruit, the number 99 recruit. No, it's not a free game, Alpha. It's, I don't know, $30, something like that. But, if you're a college football fan, you will get hours and hours and hours of enjoyment out of it. So, anybody that so we have no outreach hours left. Thanks for the follow, Alpha. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's not free. But you can also probably try. I didn't play college football 22, but my guess, I don't know how much they change between 22 and 23. So you can probably get 22 for relatively cheap, I would imagine. If you don't want to spend 30 or whatever it is, $35 on this one, you can probably get 22 for, my guess would be 15 or $20. They're on Steam. I usually just download them right from the website. But yeah, the last kind of remote control game that I played with any real regularity was NCAA football. Yes, they make college basketball games as well. I absolutely adore their college basketball game. It's phenomenal. Recruiting is set up a little different, but I absolutely love the way their college basketball game works. And then their pro game is just second to none. Like I said, there is no like pro basketball sim out there that is better than what you're going to get from the Wolverine guys. Absolutely. NCAA 14. Yeah, I stopped playing it when they removed the FCS teams, to be honest with you, because again, I'm a fan of the University of New Hampshire. So I would always take UNH and I would dump them into the Big East, and I would start with an FCS school, and that's how I always played the game, and I played the crap out of it. Let's see if we can get some interest here. We have some scouting dollars to spend. Robert Daniels, let's put that there. Let's put that there. See if we can get some interest or some interest from some of these guys here. I don't think it's going to work out, but we're going to see what we can do here. You got to get them to the top 4. We'll keep an eye on them. I will keep an eye on them for sure. A lot of these guys, We have one scholarship offer remaining. We may want to start next week diving into the 3-star guys that don't have a lot of offers and see if we can start to land some of those, because I don't know that we have enough time to land any of these guys, but I'm hopeful, because like Emory Artis, we're his only offer. Michael Hale, we're his only offer. We're competing with one other team for Albrecht and Vallejo and Farmer and Michael Byers and people like that. So I'm hopeful that because none of these guys have offers from anywhere else, that that we will be able to land some of them. I got 13,000 scouting dollars left. I guess we'll just put it into the kicker. Let's get some accurate. Why can I not put it into the kicker? Why can I not scout him? Let's put some money in there, I guess, and put some money in here. All right. So let's sim this week. We've got Rutgers. It's the game we need. If we lose this game, we could be staring 4-4 in the face, which would be typical Illinois to start 4-0, get into the top 25, and then lose 4 games in a row. All right, so we win. Not a great win, but a win's a win. We get 4 field goals from Lance Taggart and a 35-yard touchdown pass from Fairbanks to Kerry Lucas. We hold Rutgers to 5 field goals, and we win. So, all right, there we go. They had, 346 yards. We had 295. It's not fair you think you go 4-0 but to start, but week 5 is Georgia. Yeah, it's... Oh, you mean in real life or here? Yeah, that's the problem, is that if you're a fan of anybody other than Alabama or Georgia, you can basically start your schedule with 2 losses. You can basically say, best case scenario, we go 10-2. Yeah, best case scenario, you go 10-2, you go 11-2, whatever it is. And that forces you to be perfect, right, in those other games. You can't have a slip up in any of your other games because you can't fall 3 games behind those teams right out of the chute, and that's what's going to happen. So again, 8 guys run the ball. 9. 9 players ran the ball here. I don't know how we managed to win this game. They turned it over. They turned it over once, but they had more running yards, more rushing yards, more passing yards. We turned it over. We had more penalties. Somehow we managed to pull off. There's not a college baseball game, no. That would be neat, though. That would be neat if they put together a college baseball game. I don't think there even is one out there. Wallace had a nice game, 9 tackles, 3 passes broken up, as a sophomore cornerback having a good year for us. Let's go ahead and sim the week. Are we back in the top 25 after that win? We're not, and we're taking on number 5 Michigan. All right, so we got a bunch of emails. Robert Lug. We got to commit a 3-star linebacker. There we go. Michael Hale was receptive to our talking points. Significant competition for Albrecht. Our scout chances are not good for Delgado. They're good for Kendall because we're the only ones who have been recruiting him. Scouts like our odds on getting Byers and Perkins and not Daniels. No other teams have offered Tuck a deal yet. This is the one I really want. All right, so we went. Let's look at here. I want to go back a week. So where is, let's see, game filter, top 25? Yeah. Your Missouri Tigers defeated LSU 26-17. So they're 5-0 now. And Washington's not top 25. They are in the Pac-12. And Washington loses to Oregon State. They drop to 3-3. If Gonzaga had a football program. Yeah, but they're a small school. They're a really, really small school, big picture. They just recruit really well. It's that international recruiting that they do so well allows them to continue to be successful. All right, so we have 2 commits. Manuel Ware we picked up last time. 1,000 recruit overall. And Robert Logue, a 3-star linebacker out of Cleveland, Tennessee. Good speed, tackling is okay. What did we see out of Ware? B speed, B strength, B minus hands. He looks okay. Looks okay. Targets, actions. So still nothing from Hale. We don't have significant. Oh, he's up to 4 offers now, so we're probably gonna lose him. Albrecht, significant competition. Vallejo. Our chances are not good, so we're gonna go ahead and remove the scouting dollars here. And we are going to hide the target. Just get him off our list. Delgado, chances are not good, so we'll do the same thing. Hide the target. Daniels, our chances are not good. All right, so we will hide. Oh, wait, I can't. I got to remove. Shoot, I got to remove all this first. Then we can hide him. I need to look at my hidden and remove scouting from those players who are not interested in us. Hidden. All right. Targets. Farmer. Significant competition, so we'll stick with him for now. Alcala. We are not entirely out of the running, so we'll stick with him. Artis. Chances are not good. Okay. I want that recruiting money to put into other players. Former GU Bulldog and your former and current Seattle Mariner Marco Gonzalez recruit. Yeah. They do a really good. They do a really good job recruiting internationally. They always have. Jason Bay. We don't have information on O'Dafe Nunn, so let's do the home visit on him. Let's see if we can get some interest there. Davidson likes our odds. We need to lean into this one, though. We need to lean into that. Kendall, let's invite him to a game. Attend a high school game. We got 4 hours left. Byers. Scouts like our odds. I can't visit Perkins yet. Scouts like our odds. We can invite him to a game, though, and then we can do phone call. All right. Who's Mizzou's? I don't know what that means. Is that like their what's whatever's considered their rival? That's the word I'm looking for. Come on, use your words, Aaron. All right, let's get all. Not all. Let's look at uncommitted. All right, so 4-star. Are there any 5-star players who don't have? Yeah, they all have tons of offers. We'll take a look. I'll take a look after we get through this week of recruiting. We've got a fullback. He's out of Illinois. I mean, let's put some money into a fullback. Maybe I don't need a fullback. That seems like it seems like a waste. Not a big fullback guy. Frederick Glasgow. 1 scholarship offer. Yeah, let's put some money there. Let's do that. Let's do this. Let's offer him a scholarship. Tackle. Another fullback. Murray Battaglia. That's an old man's name, but we will give Murray some money here and try to recruit him. We don't have any scholarships left. All right, we're going to have to. Right now, the way we've been playing, it's more of a defensive team. I'm going with more of like a spread style offense is kind of what I'm looking for. I just prefer that style of offense. Let's look at 3 stars. Yeah, even these guys are starting to get loaded up with scholarship offers. Roger Rogers, yes, just for the name only. Roger Rogers, let's go. Roger Rogers. Johnny Anderson, a cornerback. All right. You wanted to look at Missouri. The quarterback, 74 for 106. That's pretty damn good. Yeah, they had 4 quarterbacks that are between 85 and 90. Charles Adams looks like he's been their starter. Young Ray has gotten some playing time. Oops, I didn't want to click on him. I guess it's probably easier just to do it like this. Look at the stats. Yeah, there are some interesting names. I have an Irwin on my team, so that's kind of how things go. So it looks like they're actually splitting the time here, but 13 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions between Adams, excuse me, and Ray. Running, William Rankin, 5th-year senior, 92 overall. Yep, the number 3 in the country. Leo Billingsley, redshirt sophomore, 91 overall. Receiving, Stephen Riggs, 4th-year junior, 88 overall. Anthony Gilman, 88 overall, freshman. Alan Tran, 91. Yeah, they got 3 really, really good wide receivers. 88 overall tight end. 89. They got 2. They're stacked, man. Defensively, Darren Rockwell, 94 overall, 5th-year senior. Brian Johnson, 89, 5th-year senior. Emmanuel Christie, 96 overall, free safety. A lot of seniors on their defense. There's another senior. And these are all seniors. They're gonna have to rebuild their. I think you got a freshman right there. They have to rebuild their defense here in the offseason. But 5-0. They're ranked 3rd in the country. So all in all, a good season for your Tigers. Illinois. Illinois, on the other hand, 98th in points per game, 91st in yards per game. Yeah, we're a defensive team. 14th in points per game allowed, 18th in yards per game. 94th recruiting rank right now because we've only signed 2 players. We're ranked 30th in the country. And we've got Michigan. Michigan at home. We're only a 1.5 underdog. We're probably going to get steamrolled, but let's see. Yeah, absolutely destroyed by the Wolverines, 43-3. Fairbanks was 9 of 33 passing with a couple of interceptions. Not a good game. That's an oof. That's an oof game right there. Not much to look at. Sacked once, picked a couple of times. Not a good game at all. 219 total yards. That was ugly. $15 messages, top 25. That was last week. Or that's this week, rather. That's last week. Oregon defeats Arizona State in a matchup of 2 top 20 teams. South Carolina over Auburn. Georgia beats Kentucky. Clemson over NC State. Notre Dame beats Michigan State. Ohio State over Indiana. Iowa State upsets Oklahoma State. Alabama over A&M. Number 1 Texas defeats Oklahoma. Stanford beats Washington State. Nebraska defeats Wisconsin in overtime. Look at that. They 24 points in the 4th quarter to come from behind to beat Wisconsin. Yeah, that game was a big oof, FJ. A big ol' oof. All right, so we pick up Pedro Kendall and John Swartz. We pick up 2 quarterbacks, so that's what we needed. Joshua Perkins, he seemed Odafe Nunn seems very receptive. Johnny Anderson, we're gonna have to offer him a scholarship. Nobody Nobody has offered him one. Same thing with Rutgers. Same thing with Battaglia. Same thing with Glasgow. We have significant competition for Hale. All right, so we picked up a couple of quarterbacks, so that's nice. I don't know how good they are. We have the number 22 rank right now because we've picked up four recruits. Let's look at our commits. So Pedro Kendall, B speed, A accuracy. Can make all the throws. Values winning. He's a team player. Athleticism is an A. I like the speed. I like the agility out of Pedro Kendall. And John Swartz. B speed, A athleticism, A minus accuracy. So couple of decent, looks like accurate passers. Strength is a B there. So a couple of decent quarterbacks we picked up. Are you one of those guys who are as happy when your least favorite team loses as you are when your favorite team wins? Like for me, like I'm not like I don't really care if the Yankees lose as long as they're not playing the Red Sox. Like I'm not one of those guys who, who would rather have the Yankees lose than the Red Sox win kind of thing. All right. So do we have anybody who's cool that Johnny Anderson, we need to offer him a scholarship. So we'll pull. Do we have a quarterback that we've offered a scholarship to that is, I think this is it. These are the only players left that we have. The good old days. What are the good old days with the Missouri Tigers? Who was the starting quarterback during the good old days? I want to know what your good old days are considered. I want to get him a scholarship. So I think we take a scholarship offer from Appel and give it to Anderson. We need a wide receiver, so we need to go heavy into Nunn and Byers. Those are the two that we really need to focus on. So we're going to invite him to a game. We're going to give him a facility tour. Then we got 10 hours left that we're going to put into O'Dave Nunn. If we can get Nunn and Byers locked down, that would be awesome. Doesn't say what our competition looks like. Byers, they like our odds. When the Yankees lost, he nearly dropped me when he celebrated. I am a fan that as soon as my team is out of it, I stop paying attention. That's just the way I am. When my team gets knocked out of it, I stop paying attention. Okay, so I think we need running backs, and we haven't really recruited them all that much. Hale, he still has no interest in us, so I think we just remove this. We'll pull our scholarship offer. Albrecht, significant competition. Let's pull from him as well. I don't think we're going to land him. Glasgow, significant competition. The old gray gamer, it's much more fun beating the rival and taking their season away from them. If I would agree with that if my team was already out of it. So, like, I'm a Red Sox fan. If the Red Sox are able to knock the Yankees out of the top spot of the playoffs in the final game of the season, I would love that. But otherwise, I don't care. As soon as my team gets knocked out of it, I stop paying attention. I'm a Red Sox. I'm a baseball fan, but I'm a Red Sox fan first. I'm a hockey fan, but I'm a Bruins fan first. As soon as my team gets knocked out, like, I may still follow it, but I'm not truly going to pay a ton of attention to it. I want to look at all. Not going to look at all. We're going to look at uncommitted, and we're going to look at running backs and Brent Nieves. He's only got one offer, so let's try it. Let's see if we can generate some interest here. Offer him the scholarship, interview him. You pay attention to whatever team that's playing the teams I dislike. Really, see, I don't. I don't have that kind of energy anymore. And it may honestly be because of the fact that I'm now involved in professional sports at a really low level, but I'm still involved in professional sports. Like, I spend my day around professional athletes, and I I've learned to not take the losses too badly, and I've learned not to get too high with the victories. Like, it's easier to enjoy the victories, and it's and it than it is to sort of deal with the losses. But yeah, I don't get too bent out of shape anymore when it comes to wins or losses by any team, honestly. So Steven's being recruited by nobody. So let's do that. Let's put some money in there. Give you a 12-0. 12. I don't know what that means. What is so much fun watching their egos deflate? What's TTUN? I don't like like we were talking about this earlier. Some of you guys missed it. I college football to me, like, I don't have a favorite college football team. I don't have a favorite college football team. I went to school in New Hampshire. I went to the University of New Hampshire. So my favorite team is an FCS school. He's not there being recruited by anybody, so we're gonna offer him as well. So I watch bowl games, I watch national championship games, but big picture, I don't have a favorite team. The Ohio State University and that team up north. What's the team up north? Sorry, I don't understand the lingo. See, I'm not a huge college football. Like, I love the game, but I'm not a huge college football. I don't have a team that I root for. I just watch the games. All right, so we'll see if we can get any interest. Let's offer. Who do we want to offer? We don't have any information on these guys yet, so I don't know. Kessler is from California. A+ physique. Nathan Pierce. He's not as good, so we're going to offer to Stevens, I think. Here come the ads. We'll get through the ads in just a minute. I'm going to pause. All right, we're back. The ads are done. Sorry about that, guys. Drew Lock, right. Drew Lock went to Missouri. That is right. Random task in your Charlotte 49ers save. You recruited the number 1 in the country, won the program's first bowl game ever, and got fired the next week. For college football, your undergrad didn't have a football team, which, I'm the same way. Like, I was saying earlier, like, I follow FCS football because, I root for the University of New Hampshire. So they beat Monmouth this past week, so they're 1-0. They had a brand new head coach. It's one of the stars of the franchise's history. His name's Ricky Santos, one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game at UNH. He's now their head coach. Their old head coach, Sean McDonald, had been the coach for like 30 years or something like that. So they turned the program over to one of their former stars, which I kind of dig. I don't even know what phase is. I wasn't even watching the ads. I was just watching the time. You're really sad for one of Missouri's past players. Who and why? So we're coming off of a shellacking. We lost 43-3 to the number 5 team in the country, Michigan, and our reward this week is to play the number 7 team in the country, the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Let's see how bad this one is. We win. All right. I'll take that. I will take that. So we beat a top 10 team. We've beaten 2 top 25 teams this year. Your big regret is you didn't go to many basketball games. They were terrible. The coach died and the intern coach was missing. They're a lot better. That sucks. Yeah, UNH, the only D1 program they have is hockey. They're part of Hockey East, so they haven't been particularly good lately. But yeah, they got D1 basketball too. They're in the America East Conference, so they usually get whooped by Vermont every year. And that's who I play when I play the draft day college basketball games. I always take over UNH because that's my thing. So we win. We beat Nebraska 27-10. We forced 3 turnovers. That was the difference in the game. They had more total yards than us. We limited the running game and we forced turnovers, and that is how we do that. Fairbanks 17-21. 29-44 with 2 picks for their quarterback. DJ Carr, a 4th-year junior free safety, had himself a game. 11 tackles, a pick, a forced fumble. You like that? There's my boy Irwin, the redshirt sophomore. He's back on the field, and we win. All right. So let's sim the rest of the week. We'll take a look at Missouri. We'll take a look at Washington, which was FJ's team. We'll see how those guys did. All right, so we got per day. We're ranked again. There we go. You'll like to see that. All right, so top 25. Texas continues to stay the top team in the country. Any upsets? Alabama drops out of the top 25. Louisville loses to Wake Forest, and that is how you pronounce it, by the way. It's Louisville, not Louisville. It's Louisville. Northern Illinois, we were talking about the other Huskies FJ earlier. The Northern Illinois Huskies ranked in the top 25. Michigan beats Penn State. Oregon over Washington State. Oregon State beats USC in a battle of top 25 teams. South Carolina wins. Oklahoma loses to TCU. A&M over Ole Miss. Washington 4-4 as they get beat up by Stanford FJ. College hockey is so much better. I love college hockey. I absolutely love it. I used to go. My father-in-law and my brother-in-law and myself used to go to the Frozen Four every year. We went like 8 years in a row or something like that. My father-in-law knew I was a big college hockey fan because of where I went to school. So we used to go to the Frozen Four every year. It was up in Minneapolis one year. It was in Tampa Bay, Boston, Denver. It was in Chicago one year, so that wasn't much of a road trip. We went to Milwaukee one year, and it's just such a great time. College hockey is so much fun. I haven't gone in the last couple of years as our family has gotten larger, so I haven't been able to take the time off. But, yeah. All right, so we win. We went 27-10 in week 8. We're 6-2, ranked in the top 25. Let's take a look and see what our recruits. You've never played as the 49ers. You should. Isn't that the 49ers, right? Is that their name, or the Niners, or whatever it is? All right, so we lose out on Mataglia and Miller. That's fine. He was excited about our win. O'Dave Nunn was excited about our win. Nathan Pierce, we're going to have to offer him a contract. Chasing Nieves is a Hail Mary, kind of. Oh, come on. So any scouting we have on Nunn we'll take away from him. Scouts like our offer of getting Nunn, which is huge. So we didn't get any recruits this week, which is a bit of a surprise, figuring beating a top 10 team would get us some recruits, but nope. All right. Still says he has no interest in us, but the scouts like our odds of getting him, so I mean, we'll keep plugging away. I don't know if that's the right move or not, but we will keep plugging away. Michael Hale has no interest. We took everything away from him. Nieves. Chasing this kid is a Hail Mary, so we will remove scouting, remove the scholarship offer it elsewhere. Glasgow, significant competition. I think we just remove the scholarship offer there. Significant competition for Farmer as well. Whoa, Henry Josie was a halfback used to have. He's a dynamic player who I would have bet big money would have had an amazing player like Christian McCaffrey. A sophomore year blew out his knee. Came back, was still pretty good, but wasn't quite the same. He was drafted as a Bills backup. He first got traded, got cut, and he never had a chance. Yeah, if you're a fan of some of these other leagues, like I'm a big fan of, like I watched all the USFL games this year, and the XFL is starting up. So there's always an opportunity, right? There's always a shot for some of these guys if they want to play in some of these other leagues. Is there anybody that we haven't? Brett Stevens, we're not entirely out of the running. We offered him a scholarship. He's got some interest in us. Let's do a home visit, I guess, see if we can generate some additional interest. Joshua Perkins, they like our odds. We're going to do a home visit for him too. We're going to invite Stevens to a game. And these both cost 3. And we got some recruiting money left, so not that we can invest it. I mean, we've already invested a ton into these guys. So, why is it not letting me? There we go. Now it's letting me put scouting into Donald Scherer. We need a kicker. There's got to be a better kicker out there than that. There has to be. Jeremiah Emmons. California is the number 2 kicker in the country. Let's find ourselves a kicker. Let's try to get a better kicker. Let's go back to targets. Oh, okay, so that's a decade ago at this point. Gotcha. So who should we be recruiting? So we have 2 scholarship offers left. Let's offer one to Emmons. And Kessler has no interest. He's been offered scholarships from others. He's not being recruited by anybody, though. That's the thing. Like, he was given scholarships, but he's not being recruited. Nathan Pierce, B+ speed. Let's offer him a scholarship. He'll sign. Yeah, I always kicked with the front of I kicked with my toe. Like, I know you're not supposed to do that, but that's how I always kicked. I think we're probably fine removing scholarship offers from these guys. I would like to bring in Alcala. Be nice to get a good tight end. Outreach hours, and we'll talk to him on the phone. We're investing into recruiting there. Recruiting means he has more 50 interest. I don't know what that means. Recruiting means he has more 50 interest in older versions. What does that mean? I'm not sure what those words put together in that sentence means. Got any strong safeties? Let's look. Let's see if there are any strong safeties that are still available that don't have a lot of offers. Any 4-star guys? technique. We can throw some money at Kent, or throw some recruiting money at Kent and Harvey and see what sort of interest we can get there. He's only got 2 offers. We look at 3-star guys. Yeah, we got a lot of guys here with no offers. So we're not in desperate need of a strong safety. I got my list here. Our biggest areas of need are running back, quarterback, wide receiver, and linebacker. So I think we should. The recruited by category means the player has more than 50 interest in a school. Oh, gotcha. So if there's nobody there, then there's teams that are showing interest, just not a lot of interest. 4-star guys. Stephen Douglas. Sure. I think we're probably safe to pull from Farmer. I don't think we're going to get. I don't think we're going to get anywhere with him. So let's go ahead and offer there. And sorry. Scouting report on today's pitcher. Here, you want to hear the scouting report on today's pitcher for the Kane County Cougars? His name is Jose Fuentes. Throws a fastball 88 to 90 miles an hour. 2-seam arm side run movement. Some pitches have more exaggerated run than others. Throws to both sides of the plate versus the right-hander. Likes to get it in on the hands. Not afraid to throw his fastball up in the zone. His changeup sits 82 to 84. It's his least frequent off-speed pitch. Used mostly against left-handed hitters, similar to movement to his 2-seam fastball. His curveball 76 to 79, 12 to 6 movement. Throws to both lefties and righties. Prefers to throw it away to left-handed hitting, and he does a decent job keeping it down in the zone. That is today's scouting report on Kane County Cougars starting pitcher, the righty, Jose Fuentes. There you go. Thought you guys might be interested in hearing that. I get that email every day. It's neat to see that kind of stuff. All right, so I have 1 scholarship offer remaining. And I'm sure, having random task in my last stream really allowed me to kind of learn how to do some of this, but I'm sure I'm still doing stuff wrong, but we will learn. We will learn how to do it with time. Offer him a scholarship as well. No. Think we're good. Think we are good. I remember I used to get so mad at these games as a kid. QB commits to a rival team. Yeah, right. Absolutely. Put that game on your calendar and say, yeah, we're coming after you. All right, so week 9, we're 6-2. We're 21st in the country, taking on Purdue, and we win again. So Illinois 7-2. You won your program's first bowl and got fired, so clearly you're terrible too. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. So we're down 10-0 here. Nice fourth quarter, a couple of touchdown passes from Sydney Fairbanks, excuse me. 17 of 33, 167 yards, 2 touchdowns. Not throwing the ball very far downfield, but this was one of our best running games of the year. We ran for 207 yards. We limited them to 84 yards on 27 carries. They turned it over twice. No sacks. Pick from Prather, a 19-year-old sophomore. All right, so I think it's RNG. If you get fired, I have that turned off, so hopefully I don't get fired. Let's sim the week, and let's take a look at Washington and Missouri, as those are the 2 teams that people are asking about. So let's do top 25 first. Alabama back in the top 25. Utah defeats Arizona State in a battle of top 20 teams. South Carolina, the number 2 team in the country, squeaks by Missouri, who's now 5-1. There you go. There's your first loss of the season to the South Carolina Gamecocks, dropped to 11th in the country. Michigan State upsets Michigan. Ohio State beats Maryland. Nebraska stays in the top 25 with a win. Stanford destroys Oregon. Number 1 Texas beats Baylor. Clemson loses to Wake Forest, and Virginia Tech beats Georgia Tech. Washington drops to 4-5 on the season. We have 17 messages. So the more messages, it's season 1 still random task, still random 1, still random 1, still year 1. Damn, so we lose Nunn, Davidson, and Byers, all players that said we were that they were likely to land with us, but we didn't get any of them. So we're gonna have to change on a dime here. We signed Austin Rust, so another 3-star linebacker, though. Not good for Douglas. Hail Mary venture for Hardy. These two guys are angry, but we're winning, so I don't really care what they say. All right, well, that sucks. All right, so we're going to have to dive back in here. So we have the number 40 class in the nation right now. 5 3-star recruits, anywhere from 700 to 1,700. A couple of linebackers. Neither of them look particularly good, but we will look at them. So Pedro Kendall, we picked up a couple of quarterbacks. A, accuracy, B, speed, B, agility, B, strength. A, athleticism, John Swartz. A, athleticism, basically the same quarterback. A minus accuracy, B, speed. Manuel Ware was our first recruit. B, speed, B minus hands. Austin Rust was the guy we just got. B plus speed, B plus tackling. He's a leader. Cool. And Robert Logue. B speed, C tackling doesn't look particularly good, but he was our first commit. All right, so targets. We have 3 scholarships now because we just lost 3 players that I thought we were going to get. Alcala. We're not entirely out of the running. I would like to get him at this point. Let's go home visit on Alcala. Kessler's cool. We can offer him a scholarship. Scouts like our odds on Perkins. We have 3 outreach hours left, so we can invite him to a game, and then we can make a phone call to somebody else. That's it. We'll do here. All right, so we've got $30,000 to spend in recruiting and $104,000 to spend in scouting. So I don't really know what the best plan of attack is here, to be honest with you. He's not very speedy. He's agile. Yeah, I don't know what the best plan of attack is here down the stretch. Looking for somebody that's fast. He's a C minus. Let's look at wide receivers. Let's look at not all. Let's look at uncommitted. Chances are not good for Robert Daniels. Okay. I see this bug is still there. That's interesting. Jonathan Bowling. Technique, football IQ. I like that. Where did he go? Right there. All right, so we'll offer a scholarship. We will recruit. We will scout. And we will interview him. Chong Lanky. That's a name. Don Steele. Leadership is through the roof. A, intangibles. Sure. I like the name. He's only got 1 scholarship offer, so let's make it 2. We'll do the same thing here with Chong Lackey. Do some recruiting on him. Do some scouting on him. And then guards. 5-star Mose Man. He's being recruited by USC. We're not likely to land him if he's being recruited by USC. John Howard. Built like a tank. Yeah, I mean, we can offer him a scholarship and see if we can generate any interest there. We don't have any recruiting money left, though, so that's going to be kind of a problem, but it is what it is. All right, let's keep going. Minnesota on the road. This is another game we need, and that's a tough game to lose. Lose to Minnesota on the road, typical Illinois fashion. Go in, top 20 team, and get beat pretty bad. We were down 23-6 at halftime. They scored 10 points in the final 3 minutes of the half. That's not good. Fairbanks, 10-25 with a touchdown. Each team turned it over once. We held the time of possession. They threw for 282 yards. We ran for 203, so our running game has been picking it up as of late, but the passing game is awful. Contreras with a pick. Sophomore strong safety. A sack from Villarreal. Redshirt freshman defensive end. I like that 84 out of our freshman defensive end. Way too many penalties. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 penalties. All right, let's sim week 10. Did it drop us out of the top 25? I'm guessing it probably did. Oh, we got an off week. Got a bye week. The only thing that with Drew Lock is everyone says he sucks because of his ints, but he is built, plays just like Brett Favre. I mean, if you're comparing Drew Lock to Brett Favre Alpha, I don't know, man. I don't know about that, but I get what you're saying. Like, you know, similar style, similar build. But some quarterbacks are just, you know, some quarterbacks are college quarterbacks and some are not, you know. So Alcala was happy with our visit. Perkins was excited. Our chances are not good for Howard. And we Lackey, Bowling, and Ibarra. Okay. We didn't get any commitments. I mean, Locke's had opportunities, and he hasn't done anything with it. You know, I mean, that being said, the Broncos had a chance to get Russell Wilson, so I mean, it makes sense for them to go after him. So, wide receivers. So we need Perkins. We need to get Perkins in. We have 2 scholarships remaining. Your high school football team quarterback was greater than Brett Favre. Brett Favre's a good quarterback. He's a dum-dum, but he's a good quarterback. Hail Mary kind of thing for Hardy. All right. Not good for Stephen Douglas. Okay. Johnny Anderson still on our list. No other teams are pursuing him, so that should give us an edge. I mean, we don't need necessarily a cornerback, but John Howard. Scouts believe our chances are not good. Let's go ahead and hide. You like Cam Collier, but people say that he's the next Bryce Harper because he dropped out of high school early to go to a wooden bat JUCO. Yeah, I mean, that's a good comparison. You know, just because he played well in college doesn't necessarily mean he's going to play well in the pros. That's just not how the game works. I gave him a scholarship. So what's the issue? Chasing Stevens is a Hail Mary. Okay, if you say so. We will pull that out. We will hide. Chalk it up to head injuries. You're not wrong. I mean, you're certainly not wrong. It's a thing. It's absolutely a thing. Roger Rogers will offer him a scholarship. Can't imagine he's going to be interested in us. He's got 7 offers, but we'll do it anyway. Speed, technique. He looks like a decent pass blocker. All right, David Glasgow, fine. You get your scholarship back. We'll recruit. Hardy, we can take that money back. Douglas, we can take that money back. So we have 30,000 in recruiting, 104 in scouting, 8 in outreach hours. Hail Mary kind of venture for Steele. All right. Let's go ahead and remove there. We need Perkins. We need this wide receiver. This is going to end poorly. Let's go back to wide receivers. Let's look at uncommitted wide receivers that don't have a lot of offers. Britt Terman. That's a name. Sam Higginbotham. We're going to absolutely throw some money at Sam because that's just a terrific name. Same thing with Terman because they each only have 1 scholarship offered. So we will offer to both of them. David Beck. I don't like any of that. John Pruitt. C's across the board. He's the definition of average. Theron Hairston, technique and football IQ. D intangibles, and we can take a look at him. I don't like the D intangibles. It's just safety, faster, jump cuts, elusive, pretty fast learner. Okay, Samuel Schaefer sounds pretty good. He doesn't have a scholarship offer, so maybe we can get in there early. Like with Jordan Davis out of Georgia, people thought he couldn't defend the pass since he was taken off in passing downs in college. Yeah, I mean, there are, 70, 80 players on a college roster? Yeah, you're absolutely right. Michael Linkus. Yep, we'll go after Linkus. Then we have to spend our outreach hours. So where do those hours go? I think we can hide some of these guys. Yeah, get them off our list. Nieves. Is there some way? I wish there was some way to. Oh, there is. Never mind. That's even better. Okay, cool. All right. So we have 20 scholarships left. May as well offer. I don't want to offer to everybody, but he's meh. I mean, he likes us, but he's kind of meh. Where are we with that kicker? Britt Terman. We need to interview him. All right, so let's. We need Kessler. Pierce is another one we want to go after. And Tuck is hot. We should be able to land Tuck. Plebs, you can't quantify the intangibles. Me, an intellectual. Well, I mean, the way I look at the intangible ratings is he's going to complain if he doesn't get playing time, and I don't want to deal with that because I don't know what these guys are going to look like, in terms of their actual ratings once we get them. So I always look for players that are going to be, that are going to at least be good team players to kind of start off, you know. Britt Terman, Higginbotham. Yeah, we'll go after Higginbotham. He's a Massachusetts boy. And we'll invite him to a game, and we'll make a phone call. All right. So we had an off week. Off week this week. So let's sim. I think we might be off next week, too. I know there's a span coming up where we have 2 straight weeks off. All right, so we fell out of the top 25 with that loss to Minnesota last week. Top 25 games. Any top 25 teams get defeated? Boise State just beats Hawaii. (65-16), Northwestern gets trounced by Wisconsin. Missouri bounces back with a 41-38 win over Tennessee. They're 7-1 now. Utah beats UCLA. Yeah, not a single top 25 team lost. Okay. So we're into week 12, and we're right back into recruiting. Brandon Tass, take it easy, man. Thanks for jumping in for a bit. Wow, we had a lot of recruits. We had a lot of recruits this round. This was a good week. We pick up Tuck, Linkus, Scherer, Gamble, Glasgow, and Kessler. So we get 2 running backs, a wide receiver, 3 running backs, a wide receiver, a kicker, and a tight end. We had some of the better players reject us, but that's fine. Emmons went to BYU. I'll call it a Texas. Rutgers to Clemson. Awesome. All right, so we pick up a bunch of recruits there. So let's go back in and take a look and see what our recruiting ranking is. 28th. So we have 5 scholarships left. We've picked up 2 wide receivers, 3 running backs, and 2 quarterbacks. We picked up 2 linebackers, not the great ones that we were looking for, but all right, so we're down to 5 scholarships. We have 5 scholarships. We have 17 scholarships left. So, yeah, I mean, let's just go nuts here. I know we need a guard, so let's look at anybody that hasn't. Let's look at 3 stars. I don't think. Mose Man. Yep. We're going to dump a bunch of money into recruiting, dump a bunch of money into scouting, interview him, offer him a scholarship, home visit. Brandon Ashford, same deal, only has 1 offer, so we will come in, we will interview, we will offer a scholarship. Super duper megastar punter. We'll look in a second. So we've looked at guards. Linebackers I think are important too, because we still have we didn't pick up that guy that we were looking at initially, Glenn Olds. Yeah, we'll recruit there. Scout. Interview. We're going to do a home visit with him because we do need a linebacker. And then same thing with Michael Baker. Dump the money in there, put that there, outreach hours, offer a scholarship. All right, so you wanted to look at, we'll look at the recruiting. We'll look at the recruiting now. So Washington. We have 11 3-star commits. All right, it's not terrible. They have 3 commits. They have the number 22 tight end in the nation, Randy Brandt, James McGowan, the number 51 center, and their punter. So there you go. 3 recruits. So it is what it is so far. And then Missouri. Three commits. The number 8 defensive end in the nation, Murray Battaglia, George Vieira, the number 24 guard, and Justin Kang, the number 20 defensive end, has recruited as well. There we go. Let's take a look at the Heisman race. Is that in here someplace? College football preview, conference preview, season preview. Awards. I don't know if I can look at any of that. Who has the top recruiting team in the nation right now? Mississippi State, really? Or is that just at quarterback? And draft a quarterback. I don't know where to look for the Heisman race information, to be honest with you, Alpha. I don't know if it gives you that information ahead of time. Performers is just the week-by-week performers. News is just recruiting. Games, what is pundits? Oh, that's just saying who's going to win. Awards? No, nothing. Magazines, recruiting preview, top 50. This is just the top players. Now, I don't know that you can look yet. I don't know that you can look yet. All right, so we are 7-3. Irwin won the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week in Week 1. And we had a bunch of commits, so we have an off. We only have 2 games left. We have an off week, then Tennessee, then 2 off weeks, then Northwestern in the battle for Illinois. So at home against Tennessee, we need this one, and we get destroyed. So 7-4. Robert White, 10 of 17, 290 yards and 4 touchdowns. Not good. I can't wait for Fairbanks to go away so we can use our own quarterbacks. Not that they're going to be any better, but he hasn't been particularly good this year. And we get a couple of sacks. We have 4 sacks, actually. Rodriguez, freshman, defensive end. So Villarreal and Rodriguez are our 2 young defensive ends. Hopefully that we can. When the players are done with college, do you see if they get drafted or not? Well, you can export them to Draft Day Sports Pro Football if you want to, and you can draft them. But I don't know. I honestly, I think it tells you if they got drafted, and then if you export the graduating class, you can import it into the pro game. Does Missouri still have a shot for the national title? I don't know. Where are we? We're in the SEC, right? Second place in the East. Playing Florida this week, so, and South Carolina's playing Vanderbilt. So it doesn't look like they're going to get any closer. The West is terrible. Look at that. Beating up on each other. So, yeah, they got a shot. They need South Carolina to lose, but they got a shot. All right, let's sim the week. $12 messages. Let's go back a week and look at the top 25. So Texas loses their first game of the season. They lose a game to California. Oregon State wins. UCLA wins. Missouri, there you go. They're up to 9th now. They defeated Florida 34-27. So top 10. Oklahoma beats Louisville. Texas A&M in overtime. Utah over USC in a big game. Wisconsin plays Cupcake JMU. South Carolina is the number 1 team in the country, 50-10. So what you're saying is you can export a draft class, the other football game they make, they go through a season, then go back. Yep. that's kind of, I think, what I'm gonna try to do with my my offline. I have an offline save that I'm gonna be starting up here, and I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna play a season of college football. I'm going to export the draft class. Then I'm going to kick over. I'm gonna play a season of pro football. Then I'll import the draft class to that. But yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. All right. We pick up Joshua Perkins and Mose Man. That is awesome. So we pick up a 3-star, number 356 overall guard. Pick up Joshua Perkins. We lose Pierce and Turman. That's fine. Great. So that was a good week of recruiting. Yep, that's right, Alpha. So we have the number 30 class in the country now. We still have 19. How many scholarships? Still have 22 scholarships that we can offer. All right, let's look at all. Let's look at targets and actions. So Johnny Anderson now has another scholarship offer. So I think we should be throwing some interest at him. Michael Baker, our chances are not good. Glenn Olds, our chances are not good. All right, so we will come back in here and we will take this away. We will take this away. Brandon Ashford. We're not entirely out of the running. Okay, let's do a home visit for Ashford. Let's invite him to a game. Let's invite him to a game. Higginbotham, significant competition. We don't really have any more points that we can throw. Schaefer. And it is time for another ad break. Hold on just a minute. I'm going to eat a banana while the ads are going on. FJ, that's right. Sub privileges, no ads. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they'd work that in. They'd have to have a college baseball game, right? OOTP. Almost there. All right. So we need, let's look at our commits. So we needed 2 quarterbacks. We got 2 quarterbacks. We needed 2 running backs. We got 3 running backs, including 2 in the top 750. We needed a guard. We got a 3-star guard, number 356 in the country. Needed a wide receiver. We got 3. Needed 2 linebackers. We got them. Neither of them are particularly good. We needed a kicker. We got him. All right. Tight end. You know what? Hang on. We got that. We got that. Got that. Got that. Not that technically. I'm just crossing off all the things that we got so that I don't go back and look for more. So fullback, tackle, defensive tackle, free safety, strong safety. Yeah, you can set up a feeder league, but you can't like play the feeder league. You know what I mean? Like you can't take Tennessee over and play them for 4 years as a college and then export those players with their stats to the pro game, which is something you can do for this. All right, so we need, let's go back and look at linebackers. all, not all. Uncommitted. Linebackers. Who has the least amount of... Ugh. Who's the best recruit with no offers? I'm probably doing this the wrong way. If we do it like this. Yeah, Dan Flores only has one offer. Colorado State. Steven Rogers. Don't like his intangibles. Here you go. Matthew Hill. He's 1,000th overall. Meh. I mean, is there that much of a difference, though? Realistically? Let's go ahead and throw some money at these guys, since we've got more than enough. Let's go ahead and offer them scholarships. And then let's look at... We haven't looked at defensive tackle, I think, once this season. 3-star John Johnson. Oh, I like all that. I like all that. Let's go after a John Johnson. We have no outreach hours left. Interesting. Free safety, strong safety. Daniel Buckingham. Sure. Offer. And free. Oh, we don't have any money left. All right. So let's sim through this week. Oh, we have to. You wanted to look at. Oh, we'll just sim the week, and then we'll go back and look, because we're not playing a game this week. So. All right, so top 25 games. Let's find some. Missouri holds on to beat Georgia. They're up to number 5 in the country, 37-31 in overtime. So big win there. Baylor beats Oklahoma State. Ohio State shuts out NC State. Iowa blows out UMass. Notre Dame wins. Virginia Tech wins. USC wins 20-5. All right, so standings now. I wish there was a way you could look. There's got to be a way to look at the top 25. Oh, right here. Okay. So South Carolina, Michigan, Virginia Tech, Ohio State, Missouri. So, with a 4-team playoff, you got a shot. I mean, you're right there. You're right there. So, where are the Illini? We're right here, wherever this is. We've lost 2 in a row. We're 7-4, but we're being outscored, and that screams Illinois, if nothing else does. Jay Silvera, thank you for the follow. Right, we got a bunch of emails, so hopefully we get some more recruits. We do. We get Rogers, Buckingham, Schaefer, and Ashford. Let's go. Oh, they rejected us. Never mind. That sucks. I thought we signed all of them. All right. Let's go to recruiting. View our recruits. Let's recruit here. Do we have any shot at Olds at all? Hail Mary kind of venture. Nope. Okay. So we will remove, hide Michael Baker. Hail Mary kind of venture. All right. Hide. Higginbotham, significant. Let's go ahead and load him up. Let's do the same thing with Anderson. Not that we need him. Johnson off from a scholarship. We got a shot at him. Okay, maybe. So we have a ton of scholarships left. So we still have nothing has changed from last week. So we still need linebackers, safeties. All right, so let's go to here. Let's go to uncommitted. Can I link you to? Yeah. Hold on. Wolverine. Give me a minute. There you go. All right. Come on, Tiger Nation. You can't let. You are very welcome, my friend. Free safeties. Let's go after Gary Teeter. C+ intangibles, A+ technique. He doesn't have a scholarship offer, so we should hopefully be able to get some interest from him. Free safety, strong safety, Calvin Buckingham. I like the technique and the intangibles, so we'll go ahead and throw some stuff at him. Interview, scholarship offer, defensive. Oops, what did I just do? I just shrunk my page down here. Hold on a second, guys. How did I do that? There we go. We don't have a defensive tackle, right? Yeah, we don't have a defensive tackle. Well, I wasn't looking at defensive tackle. Put some into John Johnson. We did that last time. If this season was real, you might lose it if you beat Georgia. Yeah, right? Well, here you go. Maybe I can help you kind of live vicariously through this team. Hail Mary kind of venture for Dean Flores. All right. Let's remove the scouting. Manuel Clinton only has one offer, so let's go ahead and throw some at him. Matthew Hillman has no offers, so maybe we can come at him real quick. What else did we need? Tackle. We haven't looked at any tackles yet. 4-star with only 2 scholarship offers. Let's go. I don't have any scouting left. I do have a scholarship I can offer you. And then I'll do the same thing with Frederick Sandoval here, and then I'll come back and I'll look at them next week. All right, here we go. Someone needs to upset SC. We'll see if that happens. We only have, I think, 1 game left. Yeah, it's against Northwestern next week. All right, so let's go back and look at week 14 and see what we see. No, Alabama beats Bowling Green. North Texas. Texas over Texas Tech. Florida State wins. USC wins. Oh, no. Oh, no. 29-3 to Troy. That is going to end whatever chance you guys had of making the national championship game, I think. That is brutal. I apologize. All right, recruiting summary. They've all rejected our offers. Shoot. Okay. Teeter went to Indiana. Higginbotham to Penn State. All right, let's get back in here. Yeah, oof, that hurts. That hurts. Recruiting. Targets. Actions. Stacy Landry is getting some interest from Missouri. So we'll see if we can outduel them. I don't anticipate we'll be able to, but Manuel Clinton all of a sudden with 10 offers. That didn't take long. All right. Matthew Hillman, significant competition. let's go there. All right, so let's just look at the best uncommitted players that have it's all fullbacks and fullbacks and centers. Look at that. All fullbacks and centers. Someone has to stop South Carolina. They ruined his dream season like Cam Newton did. Well, we'll see what happens. Yeah, there's not a lot of great recruits. Well, at least not a lot of great recruits left that have no offers, I should say. Wow, this guy, number 118 recruit. He's only got 2 offers. Do we throw? I mean, let's throw our hat in the ring for Gary Harden. I mean, I can't imagine we're gonna get him, but let's offer him a scholarship. Why the hell not? Logan Calvin. Guard Michael Morgan has 3. I mean, I'm sure we're going to miss out on him, but we'll give it a whirl. Yeah, I mean, there's obviously stuff that we missed this year doing this. That I'll be better at next season. I'm looking for guys who have either here we go, Brian Morrissey, we need a tackle. Either no offers or 1 offer. And then coming in here. So we still have 3 outreach hours left. They were 5-7, Alpha. So you got stomped by a team that was 5-7. It's the best way I can put it. Carlson, 3-star. Kindle High. I mean, let's recruit a fullback. Let's recruit a fullback because why not? Let's recruit Lloyd Shapiro. We've got the money to spend. Let's just do it. You never know when you're going to need a good fullback. All right, so let's look at our targets. And so we have 3 outreach hours left. Let's put him into here. Let's put him into Gary Harding. I can't imagine that he's going to be interested, but if we can somehow get him. Need this win over Northwestern, though. All right, so we finish our regular season 8-4, and we should get a bowl game. Fairbanks throws 3 touchdowns. Jameer Anderson has a couple of touchdown runs. 15-23 for Fairbanks, 214 and 3 touchdowns. They turn it over 3 times. It was a pretty dominating game for the Illini. We only completed passes to 3 different players. 2 picks for McGee, junior cornerback, and Barber, redshirt freshman, picks up a pick. No sacks, and we win. All right, let's sim the rest of the week. You still got the bowl game. Yep, you still got your bowl game. All right, so top 25 games. Auburn and Alabama. The Iron Bowl goes to Auburn. Ohio, Michigan State. Ohio defeats Michigan State in a 1-5. There you go. There is your South Carolina loss as they get shut out by Clemson. Missouri defeats UT San Antonio, so they actually finished with the same record as the Gamecocks. 10-2 on the year for you guys. A&M loses to Arkansas. Red River rivalry, Oklahoma State beats Oklahoma. Let's take a look and see if we got any recruits, and then we'll look at recruiting for your other 2 teams. So we pick up the 4-star quarterback Gary Harding and the 4-star tackle Stacy Landry. Let's go. Let's go for sure. All right. Let's go to our dashboard. That's huge. So we have the 94th recruiting. Well, I don't know if that's up to date or not. So let's look at Washington first. Let's see how their recruiting year went. They have 17 commits. They pick up the number 15 running back in the country, Albert Pfeiffer. And then a bunch of 3-star recruits, a 2-star recruit and a 1-star recruit. And then Missouri. Ten recruits, including the number 3 fullback, Joseph Kim. We're not there yet. We're into the championship weeks. All right, so we have the number 41 recruiting class. We pick up the stud quarterback, Gary Harding. Not very quick, but top 100, top 108, number 118 national rank. Accurate, has a strong arm. Not particularly fast, but he could be more of a pocket passer. And then Stacy Landry, number 108 ranked tackle. The number 1 tackle in the state of Missouri. And your Tigers couldn't pick him up. All right, so we have 16 commits. Let's look at targets. We only have 2 targets left, yeah. Let's look at all, or not all. Let's look at uncommitted and actions. So the best, there's a 4-star tackle. Yeah, that's 27-0. We'll take a look at those games in a second. Because I don't know if we're gonna be playing in that playoff game, but we will be playing in a game. Lee Shirley, do we want another? We may as well, right? I mean, we've got the money, so let's dump it in. Interview, scholarship offer, home visit, may as well. Pick up another elite tackle. What positions do we? So we picked up 3 quarterbacks in this recruiting season. Oh wow! So every defensive tackle that's left is 3 stars or worse. Okay, so this is gonna be kind of bottom of the barrel stuff at this point, I think. Oh, we needed a punter too. Are there any punters left? I mean, sure, we need a punter. I don't know how good he's going to be, but let's offer him a scholarship. Free safety and strong safety. There are no 5-star or 4-star. Okay, yeah, so we are literally at the bottom of the barrel with these guys, and that's fine. D intangibles, but he's from Illinois. Goes to Hinsdale Central. 139 in Texas. Athleticism, technique, yeah. John Howard, sure. Offer him a contract. Or I keep saying contract. Scholarship is the word I'm looking for. Free safety. Boyd Torres. Technique, football IQ, physique. Sure. Interview, scholarship. And then we have, let's just look at all. Excuse me. We need no, we don't need a center, do we? That's the one position we don't need. Let's just offer it to this other tackle. Maybe move one of them inside. All right, so let's look at targets. Appel has really good potential for development. Okay, fine. Let's offer you a scholarship. And we'll just run with that. We have 5 outreach hours left. Let's give them to Torres because we need to bring in a strong safety. Yeah, it would. All right, so week 16, we don't have a game. We've got Mountain West Championships here. Sun Belt, Atlantic Coast. That's got to be frustrating. South Carolina against LSU in the SEC championship game. Let's just sim the week. So Air Force loses to San Diego State. San Diego State wins the Mountain West. Louisiana wins the Sun Belt. Louisville wins the ACC. Northern wins the MAC. Conference USA goes to Charlotte. Wish Random Task was still here. South Carolina in overtime beats LSU for the SEC championship. Ohio State over Wisconsin. Stanford over Utah in the Pac-12. Texas defeats Baylor in the Big 12 and in the AAC. Cincinnati over UCF. So we're taking on Alabama in the ReliaQuest Bowl. Let's go. All right. Missouri taking on Baylor in the Sugar Bowl. There you go. You got a big bowl game. Alabama or Missouri against Baylor in the Sugar Bowl. North Texas, Boise State. Buffalo takes on Utah State, BYU, and Tennessee. Clemson and Oklahoma in the Cheez-It Bowl. Auburn and Cincinnati in the Gasparilla Bowl. Bahamas Bowl. Texas Bowl is Georgia and Duke. Military Bowl, South Florida, Florida State. The Pinstripe Bowl, 2 500 teams at Yankee Stadium. Let's go. Orange Bowl, Louisville and Louisiana. Rose Bowl, Michigan and Utah. The Hawaii Bowl features Hawaii as it should. Music City Bowl, a couple of top 20 teams. The Fenway Bowl, 2 teams under 500, Texas Tech and Pittsburgh in the Fenway Bowl. Yeah, Utah and Michigan in the Rose Bowl. That should be fun. Cotton Bowl, Virginia Tech, USC. Citrus Bowl, Wisconsin and LSU. All right, well, let's sim and see how we do against Alabama. Oh, come on. We take Alabama to overtime and lose 29-23. That stinks. We actually outgained them. This is our best offensive performance of the year, 431 yards, and we end up losing it to Alabama in overtime. We ran for 203 yards. Fairbanks threw for 228 in his final game. McCallum, 10 of 23 for 4 touchdowns, and we finished the season 8-5, and we lose to Alabama. All right, let's see how this goes for Missouri. App State beats Florida Atlantic. Baylor over Missouri in the Sugar Bowl. BYU beats Tennessee. Utah State over Buffalo. Boise beats North Texas. Charlotte over Eastern Michigan. Auburn beats Cincinnati. Clemson over Oklahoma. Georgia beats Duke. South Florida beats Florida State. Syracuse over Indiana. Marshall over Houston. Louisville destroys Louisiana. Kansas State beats Oregon State. Hawaii beats Memphis. Arkansas over Miami. Utah beats Michigan in the Rose Bowl. That's a big deal. A&M over Michigan State. Florida over Nebraska. Iowa State over North Carolina. Oklahoma State over Mississippi State in a good one. Arizona State beats Notre Dame. Northern loses to Coastal Carolina. Air Force over Ole Miss. Texas Tech over Pittsburgh. Purdue over UConn. Rice beats Ball State. Rutgers wins. Oregon beats San Diego State. Navy beats Troy. Arkansas State wins. Penn State wins. UCF shuts out California. UCLA in a boring 9-5 game over Iowa. Virginia Tech over USC. Washington wins the Sun Bowl over Wake Forest. So there you go. Washington with a bowl win. South Alabama over Virginia. Wisconsin beats LSU. And I don't see... What am I missing here? Oh, Baylor loses to Missouri 30-13 in the Sugar Bowl. Not a good one. That is a rip indeed. All right, let's go here. We all know what happened to the Alabama game. I mean, other than them cheating. So Jonathan Fairley makes the Big Ten All-Conference team. Recruiting summary, we pick up We picked up those 2 tackles. So we picked up 3 top 500 tackles in the last 2 weeks of recruiting. I'll take that. Started 5-0, lost 3 games. Yep, number 45 recruiting class. We only have 1 target left. Who is the best player that doesn't have a scholarship offer? I guess is probably the best way to look at this. Fullbacks and centers, of course. We may as well go all in with these guys, right? Like, not that I can invite them to a game. There are no games. I'm just looking for positions that aren't, that I know we haven't signed anybody at. I think the game will automatically fill in with other players, if I remember correctly. It's all, these are not good players, but we need more. We need to fill in, our backups and that sort of thing. So I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with just throwing some scholarships at some kind of low end 3-star guys. I don't have any recruiting money left. That's why that wasn't working. All right, so we got the playoffs. I'm going to sim to the end of the season, and then we're going to call it, guys. I got to get ready for the baseball game. I got to leave in like 2 hours. So South Carolina, Texas in the Fiesta Bowl, Ohio State and Stanford in the Peach Bowl. Ohio State over Stanford, South Carolina over Texas. So the college football championship game will be Ohio State and South Carolina. Clemson ahead of your season. Sim and see who wins the national championship. Oh boy, there you go, Alpha. That'll make you happy. Ohio State blanks South Carolina and goes 14-1 in the regular season. They destroy South Carolina in the championship game. I don't think we have any messages. Yeah. So I think let's look at our stats. Let's take a look at the end of season stats before we advance and lose all of our players. So we finished 8-5, number 40 in the country. Started 4-0, lost 2 out of 3, won 2 straight, lost 2 straight. Yes, we went 1-3 in our last 4 games. It's a good start to the season. We were ranked in the top 25 twice, and then lost immediately. We have a couple of really solid recruits. We have the number 10 and number 19 tackles in the nation recruiting to Illinois. We have the number 9 overall quarterback agree to come to Illinois. Picked up a bunch of depth, nothing less than a 3-star commit. All in all, I think it was a good first season considering I don't know what I'm doing. Sydney Fairbanks, 13 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Be glad to move on from him. Our running game, we ran too many damn people. Like, I don't understand. Like, I may have to look at this. Like, I don't know why Aaron McLeod, a wide receiver, ran the ball 74 times. It's something I'm definitely going to have to look at and tweak going into next season. Massey's gone. McLeod is gone. Evans is not gone. We have another wide receiver who's gone. Yeah, Watson. So 3 of our top 4 receivers are gone. Defensively, we're good, I think, in some places. Yeah, junior, sophomore, freshman. Irwin is a sophomore. So we've got some young talent on the defensive end. I'm going to go ahead and sim. My nose is itchy. I've been up here long enough. Oh, that's loud. That was loud. I forgot that they do this. You guys probably couldn't hear that, but that was really, really loud. Most outstanding player, Scott Underhill, a running back out of Texas. I'm assuming that is the Heisman Trophy. We'll have to look, but I think that's the Heisman Trophy. Craig Acevedo is the defensive player of the year. David Patel is your quarterback of the year. What do we got going on now? Senior Bowl. Okay. Ooh, prestige update. Did we gain prestige? We gained 2 prestige, so that's good, I think. I don't know what it's in relation to. All right, let's advance to the Senior Bowl. Yeah, sure, whatever. I'm not going to spend time doing this. That is fine. The North beat the South. Terrific. I think it's just time to, let's just sim to the end of the season. And then we will call it, and we'll come back and we'll do it again next Sunday. It's thinking. There we go. All right, so transfer portal. We got some transfers that we can take a look at. Anybody leaving? Anybody wants to leave us? Thomas Vigil, Justin Garcia, Craig Hardwick. Okay. These are all the available draftees. So, all right. How do we go about, well, I'll figure it out, but I think that's going to do it, guys. So I think we are all done. So we make it into year number 2. We have a pretty good recruiting class, 3 4-star recruits and 15 3-star recruits. We'll take a look at the transfer portal and see if we can bring in some of those players. I think that's it. I think that is it. I'm going to call it here. Appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with me this afternoon. And I will talk to everybody next Sunday night, as we should be back onto a normal schedule next week. So take care, guys. Thanks.